Unit 1, Topic 7, evaluating polynomials for a given value. Let's look at a couple of examples. So here we have negative a squared plus c squared when we're given that c is equal to negative 4. So one thing just to point out is that we're only given a value for one of the variables, c. That means our answer should have a in it when we're done. We don't know what a is. It's still going to be a variable, whereas c, we're given a value. So we know that this equals negative a squared plus negative 4 squared. Now remember, it's very important when there's a negative here, it goes inside of here because you're applying the exponent to the negative as well. So when we have negative 4 squared, that's the same thing as saying equal to, or negative 4 times negative 4, which is positive 16. So this whole thing equals negative a squared plus 16. Notice there's an a in our answer. We don't know what a is. We weren't given that a. All right, it's really important to notice that right off the bat. So that way if you put in a number by accident and you don't have any variables, you don't have your a left over, that something's up, okay? Let's look at another one. We have negative c squared z plus cz plus c when we're given that c is equal to negative 1. So what we need to do then is plug that negative 1 in for the c's. But again, remember, we don't know what these z's are. So we're going to have some z left in our answer. So let's go ahead and plug in our negative 1. So we have negative 1 squared plus negative 1 times z plus c. Oh, excuse me. Plus negative 1. I forgot to write a z there. I'm sorry about that, guys. Hold on. All right, here we go. Let's do this. So we have negative 1, negative times negative 1 squared z plus negative 1 times z plus negative 1. There we go. That looks a little bit better. So now that we're going to do this, let's take a look at this very first component here. So we have negative times negative 1 squared. Now remember, this does not have the exponent applied to it. It's independent. This part is just the exponent part, right? So that means that this equals negative times negative 1 times negative 1, right? So when we multiply these two together, we just get 1. So this whole thing equals negative 1. So we're going to plug that back in over here. Okay, so this is going to give us negative 1 times z, which is the same thing as just negative z, right? You guys remember that, right? So if we have negative 1 times z, that's the same thing as just saying negative z. Okay, so we're just going to leave it as negative z. And let's erase all this so we've got room. All right, so now we have negative z. Again, here we have negative 1 times z, which is the same thing as saying minus z. And here we have plus negative 1, which is saying minus 1. Now, I notice that these two are like terms. I can't leave them like that, negative z minus z. What I need to do is combine those. And when we have negative z minus z, that is equal to negative 2z, okay, minus 1. So that's our final answer for that one. All right, so if you have any questions about how to evaluate a polynomial given a value, let me know.